just can't let you know. I just can't let you know.
Hello and welcome to the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series live on Apex Racing TV. We're here at Imola this evening for round 5 of the championship. Myself being Sam Fitzpatrick, alongside me is Marco Barbier. And Marco, so far this season has been absolutely enthralling. Season 4 of this championship. And round this classic circuit, of course, one I'm not quite sure how close it is to your home, but certainly in your home country should be a fantastic location as we approach the midpoint of the championship.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sam. Let's say from my house to Imola, it's I mean, if you are quick, it's like a 4-hour drive, maybe 5. I don't know. If you respect the limit, it's. And as you of course know, I've been here back when the dinosaurs were around the Earth in 2002 for the Italian Grand Prix. Track has changed a bit for better in some places, for the worse in some places, but I'm always excited to welcome any series here on Apex Racing TV when they come to Italy, and it's I mean, can beat the scenario of this racetrack with the elevation changes. And one thing that people probably don't notice, but this track is in the city, like inside the city of Imola. So most of the areas surrounding the track where there are no grandstands, it's actually public parks where you can freely enter during races weekends. So and you can see from, for example, when you come down to Rivazza 1 or Rivazza 2, there are basically people living there and watching straight on the racetrack. Fantastic setting, fantastic scenario, a lot of history, of course, and yeah, a tough place to pass. That has to be said. These drivers, and there are a lot of them, they are going to be put to the test. Right now, I think we have 38 drivers signed up for this race, and there's going to be a lot of cars in a track that is not very long nor very wide.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to your point of kind of the village that this track is within. Of course, one of the most detailed circuits, it must be said, on iRacing was only modelled a couple of years ago, and so it does look absolutely superb out there. In the championships, in the overall championship, which isn't something that we usually pay too much attention to, because none of the drivers really aim for the overall. They're all aiming for their individual class. But in the overall, Marts van Liesnold is leading the way. Marvin and Mons is second. Lewis Ward in third. Van Genexen in fourth. And Gregory Franks actually drawing on points with him. Currently in the gold category, Marts van Liesnold is leading the way. Remember, Van Genexen was not able to turn up for last week. It's left him with quite a deficit. These drivers do get one drop round though. However, it really does put on the pressure for iFanConnected not to make a mistake for the rest of the season. He's got to be absolutely superb now if he's going to get his championship back on track. He's just ahead of Marvin Mons. He's had a very good championship in 3rd place. So too has Lewis Ward and Gregory Ranks. In the silver category, Davey Witterbowles just about leading the way, just ahead of Nick Sherman, who took the race victory last time out. Jeremy Hessels is in 3rd, with Steve Clays struggling a little bit in the previous 2 rounds in 4th, and Stephen DeWolf rounding out that one. And then in the bronze, certainly the most dominant class so far, because David Puller's taken 4 wins out of the 4 races. He's got twice as many points as Ben Thanes so far this season. However, we have consistently seen the bronze class victory very close. It's just that Fuller's always been able to capitalise. Ben Thanes in 2nd, Theisberg in 3rd, Juries Moody in 4th, and Sam Bentham is in 5th position. Just setting their lap times at the moment in practice, so these lap times don't matter too much. We'll have about 4 more minutes of this practice session, and then we'll be straight into qualifying, a 10-minute session, which is ever so important, Mark. As you were saying, the difficulty of overtaking, and whilst this pit straight has been extended, or at least, extended quite a bit, since the times that you visited this circuit, it is still extremely difficult to make your move stick around it.
It is, absolutely it is. I think that the way the track has changed over the years, like I was saying earlier, it has changed for the better in some places. I like the new, but also, because that original, the front stretch now is longer, but the Variante Bassa was really, I think, only in Magny-Cours you had another similar chicane so close to the start-finish line. They tried to do a little bit of a similar thing with the bike chicane that we are not using tonight, but it's not the same, let's be honest. And despite all the works of making the track better and more modern, F1 hasn't returned since the days of, I think 2006 was the last
Yes.
Grand Prix ever held around here. So it's a bit of a shame. But of course, it has been a track visited by European Le Mans Series in the past. The 24-hour series has been here last year. Of course, Italian categories ran around Imola, both bikes and cars. So it's still a track that is quite busy during the years. Of course, it's missing, I think, a lot of historic events taking place around here, historical cars events, but it's missing the big events that it had in the past. Hopefully we can make up for it with our race tonight. By the way, I'm taking a look at Lewis Ward, and if I'm not mistaken, that is a new livery and also a new team, Alpine Simsport. I am desperately trying to recollect for which team Lewis was driving in the previous rounds. I am failing at that at the moment, but I'm quite
Black
sure.
Sheep Motorsports.
Oh,
Because I
see?
think I might
Yeah?
have the wrong project file on.
Okay, yes. Oh, yeah, of course you have the wrong project file on, and I absolutely apologize to you, and I will send it to you in an instant. The
Awesome.
beauty
Well,
of being
it
live.
worked out well, didn't it? You make mistakes in life. Some of them turn out to be very thankful for, let's say. But at least we've figured out that little conundrum. Lewis Ward, one of only 2 drivers, I believe, so far in the gold category to have finished in top 5 in every single race. He's got 3 fifths and a 4th. And that is superb consistency, especially considering he's not always been the fastest driver by any means. Particularly Donington, I remember he was running down in 9th at one point, but picked up the pieces, and that's really given him a very good chance this season. Just entering the last minute or so of this qualifying session now.
We have other changes, and this is not wrong on your hand, because you might be seeing Andrew Hopley running around in a BMW despite having his team named Meraki Racing R8, because he was driving the Audi up until last round. He switched, but I think the team name is already set, and of course he's a teammate with another driver, and so he will have to, this sounds a bit like you remember in 2010 the BMW Sauber Ferrari, no? This is more or less that, because is running in the Meraki Racing R8 on a BMW Z4. But what can you do? You know, the rules are the rules. Hopefully, he fares well with his new car. And a bit surprised because you know, the Audi was certainly the preferred choice among the top drivers. You know, so far this season. Of course, we are in the second of the 3 race period for the new BOP that has been introduced in round 4. So we'll see how the cars will fare around this racetrack. This is the 5th round, of course, of the championship, and after the next one, they will take another look at the BOP as practice is over, and we are just waiting for qualifying to start.
Yes, not too long a circuit this, so shouldn't be too difficult for the drivers to set their times. We saw at Spark was quite difficult to set your time because it's such a long lap. You still only had 10 minutes for that qualifying session, but we'll still see the drivers file out onto this circuit. It's a fantastic site. Whatever series we cover on Apex Racing TV, it's always fantastic to see in the first minute or so. Everyone come out onto the track, and it's championship leader Martin van Loosenholt out first, just ahead of his teammates as well. Everyone has taken to the track seemingly, maybe just a couple waiting for a little bit of a pocket of space. Track temperature, by the way, there's quite some interesting facts, I think, which on the side of your screen right now, I think, which probably I can't give it to you. It's such a concise form, but the track temperature is 34 degrees, air temperature 25, so not too much of an issue for these guys. Will be rising though. So, well, maybe we see the times maybe dropping off as this session goes. That's certainly a possibility.
As I'm desperately trying to get the right name for Martin van Loosenholt in the qualifying overlay, so maybe third time is the charm. But yes, we have a new overlay. Sorry, a new addition to the overlay, which you know is the usual weather overlay that we've gotten in the past, but Pascal Iglin has you know put in some new features. For example, now you can see the time of day, 9:45 in the morning. No way they let you run around in Imola this early. And it's the 15th of May, as you can see, so the traditional iRacing date. Let's see how things go now with what is certainly going to be a very, very tight qualifying session for these drivers.
Absolutely. Most series that we cover on Apex Racing TV will use the 15th of May as the date. The reason for that is because of the beta UI. I don't want to have a go at iRacing or anything. It is quite difficult to have, to manipulate. And so changing the day is really quite an unnecessary part. You just kind of stick with the 15th. And everything usually works out. Chris Muretta, just out there at the moment, just going through the first few corners. Rise Moody, also out there currently. Is Jais a bronze driver or a silver driver, Marco?
Bronze driver.
Bronze driver, okay. It's just on my overlay, it says he's the silver driver. But on iRacing, it said he was a bronze driver. So I'll certainly trust you there, Marco. And he's actually put in a decent lap, or was that not a lap at all? No, it was a lap. And he goes 8th place. Not a bad effort whatsoever.
He's got a bronze number plate on his car, so I guess he's a bronze driver. Now you put me under some considerable, you know,
You see,
pressure.
I should know this. So I think he's in the bronze championship.
Yes.
And so unless he's had a change, he is a bronze driver. Martin van Loosenholt just about to set a lap time now. Didn't set a lap time the first time out. And he has been superb in qualifying so far. 3 poles out of 4. And he goes top for now. Apologies, actually. All those lap times that have so far been set, they're actually out laps due to the positioning of the timeline.
Oh, you are right. You are right.
When they come out of the pits, your out lap actually counts as a lap. So apologies for that earlier on. Those first lap were not representative whatsoever. These are the laps that now count. But either way you look at it, Martin Van Liesnoord is on provisional pole.
Yes, it's you know, very easy to get confused, and you know, it's actually very interesting that several you know, simulators have never gotten this right. I mean, I've seen even in modern day racing sims, they have you know, they made mistakes, and you go to Imola, and the start line and the finish line are at the same place. Same for Monza, but in Italy we like to have this particular you know, setting. I don't know why. Not in Vallelunga, thankfully, where I work. There is much easier to get things right. Let's take a look at the Van Genekten, by the way, defending champion, and he's trying to get his first lap in as so Van Luzenoord trying to improve. Let's first go to Van Luzenoord because he's not improving, so not a good lap for him. Bob Boland also coming towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, had a bit of a mare so far, has Bod Boland this season. Maybe that's a bit harsh. He had decent rounds 2 and 3, I believe, but Donington and Interlagos had crashes. First one probably his fault at Donington, but certainly the second one was not his fault whatsoever. But Boland had a good qualifying last time out at Interlagos, but remains in 4th position for now. Now, here's the guy that we really need to watch, Van Genekten, because he is the only driver apart from Martin Van Liesnoord to have taken a pole position so far this season at round 2 of the championship, I believe it was. Yeah, Van Genekten now coming through the final couple of corners onto the straight, so easy to pick up a 1x right at the end of the lap, and Van Genekten will take the shortest run to the line, I'm sure. And whereas is going to play, at least wants to be on the front row of the grid, and he does do that. He's a long way off Martin Van Liesnoord, though only just ahead of Marvin Amont. I'd say he's going to have to improve significantly if he's going to get that pole position.
Okay, apologies if I'm not very talkative during this qualifying, but I'm trying to sort the issue with the driver names on the overlay. Hopefully they will be solved very soon. Apologies for that. I mean,
Yes,
they are there, they are readable and they are there, but some of them are all over the place, and I think I might have missed something somewhere.
Yes, we'll try to adjust that one, but for now we'll just watch the rest of the action going on. So yeah, Martin Van Liesnoord on pole position currently. Van Genekten in 2nd, Marvin Amont in 3rd. Marcel van der Linde, and another great qualifying, and we don't want to be biased. We do like Marcel. Ever since he stepped in a Ford, you know, it takes quite a man to jump into Ford GT and represent it in this series, so we certainly do appreciate him for that. Unfortunately, he did drop the Ford a couple of rounds ago, but well, since then his performance has certainly improved. Bod Boland in 5th position, the top of the Silver Jazz. Currently, Davey Witterboss, championship leader, of course. Actually, Stephen de Wolf, Jeremy Hessel's 2nd in that, and Stephen de Wolf in 3rd, and then leader of the bronze category, as usual, is David Fuller, 18th overall. 2nd place in that one is Lee Woodburn in 23rd overall. Martin Van Liesnoord just starting another lap, and we'll be looking to improve. Not an amazing first sector, it's still better than anyone else has been able to achieve, but a very good 2nd sector, actually, a green 2nd sector. I believe there's a live timing link in maybe the description. Yes. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to put more pressure on you, Marco.
No.
Case,
it's there. It's there.
Awesome. So if you want to keep up to it, unfortunately, I don't think that has sector times on it, but you can still see exactly what's going on out on the circuit as Van Liesnoord puts in a purple sector 3, and he is just getting faster and faster. Still Van Genekten about halfway round the lap, so we'll keep an eye out on what times he can produce. But certainly pay attention to Martin Van Liesnoord as he goes round the Rivatsa. And well, he's already got a comfortable margin. Can he possibly get below the 100-second mark? That would be quite an achievement in these GT3 cars as he crosses the line now, and it is not an improvement. 1.5 tenths slower would still be pole position comfortably. Marvin and Monster's just gone up into second position, by the way, just pipped Ifang and Nectar. He just seems to be struggling a little bit out there. It is on a lap as Ifang and Nectar, but I believe that's actually an out lap. So, yeah, not going at all his own way currently. The defending champion. Remember, the driver who won 11 out of 12 rounds last season. The only round that he didn't win was when he crashed at Bathurst, but this season struggling a little bit more. Ewan Marshall is up into fourth position now. So good lap there from Ewan. All very, very close from about second place all the way down to about 10th. Only about 4/10 of a second separating those 9 drivers, as in fact the checker flag comes out. Of course, unlike official says, these drivers can complete the lap that they start, and so keep your eye on the scoreboard on the left hand side to see if anything else changes.
Keep the faith, because I'm almost close to a solution.
Awesome. Well then, Lusenort, on this lap, not really improved. A good sector 4. It's a purple, a green sector 4. But I don't think this is going to be an improvement. But he is still putting himself into a fantastic position to maybe take his 4th race victory of the season and extend that advantage. Also, you get some bonus points for your for getting pole position in your class as well. Martin Van Liesenow crosses the line, and it's not an improvement again, but it still was not a bad lap. And, well, I think there's not too many drivers left out on the circuit currently. So we are going to be able to take you through your order very soon. Also, Van der Linden just approaching the line here. But, so just stop there. It was very difficult entry here at Imola. Anyone who saw the not the highlights of iRacing the other month would have seen a few 3-point turns on that pit lane. But no, hopefully we won't have any of that today. Tom Methrall still to put in a time. You can just see him go by. And this is actually a pretty good lap from Tom Methrall. He's currently in 14th position. And I don't think he improved. Apologies, it wasn't even a valid lap time. According to my screen, he had 5 personal best sectors. So very disappointing for him. That's clearly he picks up a 1x at some point. So that pretty much rounds out qualifying for this round 5 of the season at Imola. And very soon we will be able to go through your starting grid.
Absolutely, just a few seconds left here in qualifying, and we should be ready to give you the starting grid. And yes, so I mean, it's I can say qualifying is so important around here. So I'm sure that the drivers know this. They have left everything on the racetrack. If Van Genekten maybe will be a bit disappointed about not being on the front row, but what can you do? And yes, session has switched over. Let's go to the starting grid.
Yes, Terence Martin losing on pole position ahead of Marvin amongst his teammates. Another front row lockout for Racecraft Esports. Ivan Genekton starts in 3rd position, but expect him to be very competitive come the race. Ewan Marshall, good qualifying for him in 4th. Marcel van der Linden is in 5th, with Bod Boland just behind. Then rounding out the top 10 is Lewis Ward, Ruben Van Buell, Matthias de Tige, and Dion Phillips. Then the leader of the silver category is Davey Whitfalls in 11th. Behind that is Seb Herbuer, Chris Murietta, Tom Methrall, and Andrew Hoplin. And we've got the silver jet of Jeremy Hessels in 16th. Behind that is Gregory Franks, Stephen DeWolf, John McConville, and David Fuller, leader of the bronze category, rounding out the top 20. And behind that is Ronald Moons, Nick Shermans, Ian Roots, Chris Miles, Lee Woodburn, James Hobden, Kevin Boland, William Bush, Scott Malcolm, Ben Llewellyn, Giles Moody, Tom McDonald, Stephen Castrop, Stuart Musselwhite, and then the drivers who did not set times were Lee Deemer, Steve Clays, Ben Thanes, and Sam Bentham. It should be a 38 car field out there today. I always mess up the race stewards. I messed it up so much that they actually had to change their names in the sim to race steward because I'm so incompetent that I just kept on thinking that they weren't starting the race. So apologies for that, and apologies for the time that has been taken precisely to bypass my idiocracy.
Okay, so we have, of course, a couple of news from the pits. Ben Taines and Steve Clays are starting from the back because of a penalty. They were excluded from qualifying, so they have a long way back if they want to get a good result. Pace car is rolling. Hopefully, the names are all, set in the right way finally, and we can go racing for this fantastic. Oh, also let's see if the initials work. Yes, okay. I'm so proud of myself. Sorry for having to do that, at the very, very last moment. And the car logos are there. So, short pace lap, Sam. Already time to go racing to racecraft esports driver, as we've seen many times this season. Locking out the front row, lots of Audis in there, and then a few Mercedes and BMWs and Ferraris.
Absolutely. Can be a little bit of a problematic start sometimes here at Imola. But it's Martin van Liesnoord from the pole position. His teammate alongside him, they're going to wait until they reach the line, until the green flag comes out. And away we go at Imola. And it's a really good start for Van Genekten. Could be under pressure. Could Van Liesnoord. It's an awful start for his teammate. We've already got a BMW into the wall and maybe even coming back on the circuit. There's a few drivers out of the race already, seemingly. And that's not the start that we wanted whatsoever. But I see at least 5 cars hitting the wall there. And, well, it might even be a few more than that. Just a car spearing off into the wall, and it's caused absolute disaster for those behind. Van Liesnoord managed to hold off Van Genekten. May have been Van Genekten's best chance after a very hesitant start there from Van Liesnoord, waiting till the last moment to put the throttle down. Chris Mertz trying to make a move a little bit further back in the field. Nick Sherman's, that's a big change because Sherman's going into this round was in second position in the championship. I believe he actually got or got a decent position on the grid, but he is now out of the race, and that's a significant change.
Yes, other drivers were involved in that. I think that it was absolutely, I wouldn't say inevitable, but the way that the start at Imola usually, evolves and how narrow the track is. Sadly, that was more than a possibility, as Van Genekten got 1 place from the start, 2 places gained from Van der Linden. The big loser, of course, of the start is Marvin Amans from 2nd down to 4th. Both Ward and the teachers are sitting behind him, also gained some spots. I would dare to go to a replay. Let's see what happened once again. And maybe we can have an idea of the situation. Let's watch it from the chopper here. This is Andrew Opley we are focusing on.
Yeah, you'll see that entire even side of the grid on the right side, all getting a very slow start. Oh, and well, it was the BMWs almost coming together, and then it was the Wolf just tapping Sherman's, I believe it was, and yeah, causing plenty of chaos behind.
Yes, and the cars were stopped all over the place. So not a good start from Andrew Opley in his relationship with the BMW. Certainly he was hoping for some better, more time also to get acquainted with the race car. Very, very unlucky there. And all things considered, we have lost Bentham, Opley and Schurmans. Bentham, I don't think he even started the race. So all in all, 2 cars retired from that crash, and could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely no faster pairs in this series. Also an instant limit as well, so expect to see maybe a couple of disqualifications. That's what we usually see in this series. But out in the lead, Martin van Liesnoord just establishing a bit of a gap now. 1 second ahead of Van Genekten, who's being kept very honest by Marcel van der Linden. He's got a little bit of damage on this car, at least from what I can see. Any idea where that could have come from, Marco?
No, but let's see. Maybe he got some tapped someone in the start. You're on board with him. You actually read my mind, Sam, on this. You know, it would be, you know, the opposite would be weird because, you know, we have been working together for the past year and a half. So let's see. That on the right is Fangenekten. I think it. Let's see. On the curb. No, that it was Amans, sorry. Fangenekten is in front of him, I think. All seems good, so... Went wide here.
Let's just hit one of those curbs. They are quite ferocious.
Could be, could be. Bad start from Amansi. He was really, really slow. Once again, we say it many times, when you start from the second place and maybe you don't have triples or something like that, or VR, you have to almost hold back for a bit when you are there, because otherwise you could, you know, get a black flag for passing the leader, and so most of the times driver in third place has actually a better run than you, and also the guy in fourth. That is very, very typical on the oval side. On the road, not so much, but you know, in this case, especially because they were going very, very slowly at the start, everyone, they, you know, Amans paid a big, big price and lost many positions. Now, like we said, down to in P4, and he's losing contact with the top guys. He's being put under pressure by Alpine Motorsport driver. Here is Lewis Ward with his new team and his new car.
Yeah, it really let down was Marvin by his teammate there. They kind of got themselves into a bit of a pickle there because they left it so late that they literally went green. They literally put the thoughts down as they crossed the line, as the green flag was inevitably going to come out, and so had to be so careful, did Marvin, not to overtake his teammates. And, well, they'll certainly have to practice that, I imagine, because it's put themselves into a bit of a tricky situation. Martin Van Leusner was lucky not to get overtaken by Ifanganekton in the end there. Dion Phillips, one of the few drivers out there not to have changed position. Also, Bod Boland in 6th position hasn't changed his starting place yet. And Stephen DeWolf, decent start for him. David Witzbols, of course, leader of the silver category in that Ferrari, so thank you for him. Thank you to him for representing that car. And David Fuller, as always, seems to always get great starts and just doesn't seem to get involved in collisions either. It's a dream combo when you got pace and collision avoidance. I certainly know when I won the BSRTC Pro Series Winter Championship as
at Acque Minerali,
Tom
Woodburn and McDonnell. Yeah, Woodburn and McDonnell, they have maybe are coming together. Let's see.
Unusual place to crash is Acque Minerale. I hesitate to think that maybe he's gone for a move here, has Lee Woodburn.
Oh!
Well, he didn't go for a move, he's just gone in a little bit too fast into the second part.
Yes, of course, Sam has the great responsibility. Oh, well, we hold on the thought because Tom Methrall is under some pressure from the Wolf. Oh no, he just passed even the Wolf, by the way, but the Wolf might fancy his chances as trying, you know, to pass him again on the inside of the Tamburello. Not this time. Sam, you have the great responsibility and honor to be able to keep an eye on both on the steward's decisions and on the incident points.
Starts instant is under review. Starts instant has been reviewed. No penalties being dished out by the waiters, that is the stewards of this series. In terms of incidents, Sebastian Herber is on 4. Stephen Kastrop on 5. Jeremy Hassel's on 6. Also Stephen DeWolf is on 5. Oh, Ben Lelewin is on 11, and that's pretty much it. Also, Tom McDonald's on 8. So a few drivers need to kind of watch those incidents, and yeah, hopefully, yeah, racing incident for the start. No further action.
Yes, and you can see on the bottom right side of your screen the new and improved battle box. Now we can display a lot of informations, the car number, the last time a driver pitted, which in this case you cannot, there's nothing there of course. We can show the car number, everything you want basically. And I absolutely love that. Later in the race we might get also to the new sector time comparison, which is absolutely nice when you have a long race like this and a nice battle for position. Look at Ward, you could hear here Sam lifting a bit early, coming into the Tamburello, not wanting to force the issue just yet.
Yep, usually a good strategy. Certainly Lewis Ward so far this season has established himself as a very consistent driver. Like I said, one of only, maybe Marvin and Mons has got all top fives as well. But very impressive from Ward, and it looks like he's going to be able to carry on that record today.
You have a message on the chat, by the way, on the official chat.
Do I?
On the YouTube chat, yes.
Llewellyn, apologies. I've been getting that wrong all season long. And so thank you for that. Llewellyn, thank you. As down the inside, nearly, is Tom Methel on Jeremy Hessels.
Battles all over the field. We might have an issue for Iwan Marshall. He cut the exit of Acqua Minerali, and that's going to be a slowdown for him. You can see dropping places to Van Duel and to Dion Phillips. Should be able to stay in front of the leading Ferrari, Sebastian Eberer, here. And he's in front of David Wittebos, another Ferrari. He's the leader of the silver class. Jeremy Essels trying to put some pressure on him. Not going to be easy, of course. Jeremy Essels, here he comes. You can see he's driving the BMW and for Dynamics Racing, by the way. So a lot of blue cars and a lot of red and orange cars in this championship. Very colorful grid, and a lot of white cars as well. For example, Racecraft and the Atomic cars, and they are white and orange. And of course, Van der Linden, you know, maybe we were right in saying that he was a bit held back by the Ford, because since he switched to the Mercedes, he's having, I mean, he had good performances with the Ford, but absolutely going very, very quick with the Mercedes, and looking a threat for a podium once again here in Imola.
Yeah, absolutely. He is on similar pace to the leaders. He is dropping back a little bit now, nearly 3 seconds off the lead, but 11 minutes into the race. Not a bad effort from him whatsoever. As Kevin Boland has had a big collision, got plenty of damage on the front of that car, was running as high as 23rd position. And this is what happened to the silver driver over the first curve, over the second
don't
curve,
tell me.
a couple of times, and then contact as well. Not sure who that was, but a horrendous couple of corners there for him.
Yeah, the teammates colliding there, of course. You know, that was almost inevitable because the car driven by Boland was bouncing, and you know, all sorts of sideways, and his teammate Bush was following him so closely that you know, it was impossible to avoid him. So unlucky, even though we have seen many collisions between teammates, especially last week in Interlagos. We have had a couple of them, so that was a bit you know, unlucky. But let's see. Let's you know, jump on board. Not jump on board, but let's see some sector comparison, shall we, between Van Loosenord and Van Genechten. You can see in the first sector, Van Genechten lost just 0.06 of a second, gaining fractionally 5/1000ths of a second in the second sector. I love this new functionality of the overlay. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they're so close currently between the two of them on that last lap. Van Loosenord actually pulled out by 0.8 of a second. It was a fantastic lap from Van Loosenord, the fastest of the race. A little bit of a slower lap time as well for Van Genechten. Just opened up the gap, but on this lap, they have been a bit more evenly matched.
Even though in this central sector, 3/10 gain, 250 264 tenths gained by Van Loosenord. He gains 168 here in sector 4 and sector 5, which is the last one. Let's see how much he gains. So it's even for the first part of the lap, and then in the second half of the lap, seems like Van Loosenord has got a bit more into his driving and his setup, and yes, he gains 1/10 of a second. So you can see in the end it's 6/10 of a second gained by Van Loosenord over Van Genechten in this particular lap. So it's very interesting to see where drivers gain and when drivers lose. So I think it's something that is going to be very, very useful going forward. And
Yep,
also the comparison
absolutely.
of the lap times, the last 5 laps, and you can see that in lap 5 Van Genechten gained 3/10 of a second, but apart from that it has been all Van Loosenord, including lap 7 when he had the fastest lap of the race at 41.1. So once again, thank you to Pascal Eaglin, STK Gaming, for providing us with this fantastic piece of software that you can also use for your own streaming, by the way, on STK Gaming website. You can find it, stkgaming.co.uk, if I'm not mistaken, is where you have to go.
So do check that out. It really does look like the the real thing, doesn't it? With some improvements, I would say. It's absolutely fantastic what Pascal
Yeah,
has been able to do.
and we have given. I was talking with Ian Roots. By the way, it's Ian Roots' birthday today, and let's give
Ah,
him some
congratulations.
camera time. Well deserved. We were talking to him, and of course, the big news that came on the week is about the new functionality of the overlay. Is going to give the drivers the chance to put their own flag for their nationality, and that is very, very nice, of course. And they will be able to everyone can use the flag that they want, and because we know that is an important part of our driver identity as a marshal on the outside of Philips, and they will be able to upload their own picture, and we can show it on the screen. And of course, we are also waiting for the commentator picture, but I sadly don't think that is going to be a priority for Pascal.
Ah, it should be. Although personally, I hate seeing commentators' faces, especially when I've listened to them for a while. Actually seeing their face, you just think, how does that face and that voice match up?
Yeah.
Very much breaks the illusion. It always staggers me that. I don't know how people think that I look. I barely know what you look like, to be honest, Mark. I've only
Yeah.
seen a couple of. I don't know if you do. You have any idea what I look like?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I don't know if to be scared or what at this point, but but no, all you viewers will be able to see our faces as well, and well, who doesn't want that after all? Dion Phillips closing in on you and Marshall. We did just get past Phillips, but not being able to pull away. Certainly down into this next chicane, not too much of an opportunity. Of course, one of the chicanes implemented many years ago. And also do some my thanks to Steam King 2160 once again providing us some very interesting track statistics, which I'm sure we'll refer to later on in the race. This little battle at the moment, there's plenty enough action at the moment. But you and Marshall just running a little bit offline. A couple of corners struggling to pull away from the rest.
Van Genechten, personal best 41.2. It's a 41.5 for Van Loosenord, so on the good for him. He's gaining a bit in this lap. Let's see if the trend continues as we continue to have crazy battle here between Ian Roots, Chris Miles, Stephen De Wolf, and John McConville. So quite a few drivers are in this battle pack here. They're all jostling for P18 and back from P18. In front of them is Gregory Ranks. You can see him here, one of the protagonists of last season. Struggling to find maybe a little bit of more consistency this season. And in front of them, a couple of places ahead, all alone, it's David Fuller, sorry, the leader of the bronze category, having a fantastic race as per usual.
Yeah, definitely. He's been one of the standout drivers so far this championship. surely a move has got to be happening amongst these guys very soon. You feel so for Chris Miles, if he can just maybe catch Ian Roots a little bit unawares here, then he could well go for a move. Of course, BMW versus Mercedes, and certainly the Mercedes should be very strong down the straights, and so that's where he's got to make that advantage trade. Certainly for BMW round this circuit, ever so difficult to get the move done on your more powerful counterparts, because overtaking is difficult as it is. You can also see Royal Moose just sticking with these guys a little bit. Steve Clays, you of course won, or nearly won, I believe, round 1 of the championship. A little bit detached from this battle at the moment.
Just to remind you the classes that are in play today, we have gold, silver and bronze. You can of course recognize them by the color of their number on their livery, or the stripe next to their name, you can see there, and also the car number, because 2 digits or 1 digit, that is gold. The drivers with a 2 in front of their number are silver, and a 3 in front of their numbers, they are bronze. And after commentating on this series for quite a while, I learned this today. So I don't know if you already knew this. I don't know if it was...
You expect far too much of me, Mark, here, I must say. I hadn't noticed that, no. Despite racing in many series where that is the normality. Always evaded me, did that one. Marcel van der Linden still in 3rd place, not really keeping up with the leaders anymore for Atomic Motorsports. And even losing a little bit of time to Marvin Amont. He's been able to pull away a little bit from Lewis Ward. Maybe Ward should have gone for the move while he had the chance. Davey Whitballs closing in on Sebastian Herbert. Of course, Whitballs the leader of the silver category, and it's always one of our topics that we like to discuss. Will these drivers in the lower categories fight the drivers in the higher categories? Because it's not really much advantage to them. Whitballs just needs to make sure that he takes home the 25 points today and extends his championship lead. Here comes Dion Phillips then, back at Ewan Marshall. These two have already changed positions twice so far in this race. And having to go defensive here is Marshall. Phillips to the outside. Can he go for the dummy perhaps? No, he's going to try to muscle his way around the outside, which is ever so difficult to do because it's such a narrow part of the circuit. But Phillips is going to go all the way around the outside, and that is a fantastic move there from Dion Phillips for Excite Audio Sim Racing Division. He's back up into 9th position.
A fantastic move, absolutely gutsy move on the outside of the Tamburello. Not an easy proposition, but that's exactly what Dion Phillips just did, and that's a fantastic move that gains him P9, as in the back you might have seen Metherol go past his teammate Chris Moretta. Now they are 13th and 14th respectively.
Chris Miles going for a move now, or sorry, defending against World of Moons. I think he certainly was ahead of Moons before.
I think. Oh yeah, you're right. He's passing him back. And
yeah.
Oh, so I was wrong, and you were right as per usual. By the way, beautiful livery.
Oh, I wish that was the case.
Team GB Esports. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful livery. We can also see it on the bronze leader, of course. Reminds me a bit of the 2012 Olympics when Great Britain had United Kingdom, I should say, had a team in the football Olympic tournament, and that kit was absolutely fantastic and reminds me a bit of this particular livery here. Very well done.
Ewan Marshall then dropping back further. So remember, Marshall starting in 4th position, didn't have a good start, then had an off, then seems to be back on his way, got back up into 9th position, and now is dropping back again. So quite an eventful race so far for the Audi driver. And now Sebastian Herbert, who is always around this range, always seems to find himself kind of between about 8th and 12th position on circuit, and he's looking to progress up into the top 10 currently. Also got Davey Whitwells and Tom Metherall keeping up with these guys, throwing Chris Moretta as well in there. test to T. Also coming under a little bit of pressure from Ruben Van Buel as well, but Van Buel in that BMW, I believe. Probably quite difficult to overtake currently for that lower powered car.
Here we go, yeah, P7 and P8 respectively. As look, I always amazed about how much some drivers jump on the curbs, and whilst other drivers there take the the more calmer way around the variante alta, avoiding the curbs as much as possible. You have to be careful because if you bounce on that curb a bit too much, you might be thrown on the right side in that on the tarmac runoff area, and if you go a bit too wide, you get a slowdown for your trouble, so you want to avoid that as much as possible. Basically, the only two places where you can get a slowdown without gaining too much are there and on the exit of Acque Minerali, because you can put two wheels on the left side of the tarmac runoff area, but if you put them a little bit to the left, too much, you get a slowdown as well. So then they are two corners that are one next to each other, so that particular place there is usually where we see slowdowns get given to the drivers, as we have a pit stop for Lee Dimmer. Doesn't seem like he had any crashes, so seems to be a scheduled stop with already 25 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, was running, I think, in about 24th position, I think. Around Steve Clay's, I think those two were having a bit of a battle, and so rolling the dice a little bit there. A little bit of an unusual strategy, but could well be effective with these big packs of drivers that we've seen so far in this race. Scott Malcolm under big pressure currently from Ben Thanes, as Thanes looks to the inside. Malcolm is going to run very wide there and almost gives the position, almost an overlap between the pair of them as well. But, well, 25th and 26th positions those two now occupy.
And second and third in the bronze category, so these two are still on the podium, but they switched their positions around. Speaking of bronze drivers, as these two were fighting it out, I think we've had a big issue for Lee Woodburn, as he was running, I think, towards the Variante Alta. Let's see. He must have had some, problem from earlier, because he didn't hit anything. Let's see from his onboard. Very, very weird. Car seems to be pointing in the right direction. Just very nicely, by the way, put his car out of the way. But sadly, I think he's going to be a retirement. He had to tow back to the pits. So that is it for Lee Woodburn in this race.
So after harassing him earlier on, Lee Wars is putting some pressure on Marvin Amont once again. This is about for 4th and 5th positions overall and in the gold category. Marcel van der Linden only just less than 2 seconds up the road as well. And so this could well be a three-way battle for the final step on the roster. Also, Bod Boland, 3 seconds further back. David Whitwells and Tom Methil have been very close to one another for the past few laps. Certainly, Methil seemingly the driver who's most likely to make an overtake in that 5-car scrap for the final for 10th position currently. See Ward just dropping back a little bit at the moment. Despite the fact that we've got plenty of close action out there. Not too many overtakes so far in this race, but maybe as the track heats up, as the tyres degrade a little bit, could well see some more mistakes, and of course the strategy is still to play out as well. 38 degrees track temperature, so it's becoming increasingly difficult for these drivers currently. Also can just say that Lee Dimmer has unfortunately left this session, so he has retired from the race.
Yes, bad luck for Lee. he left the pits, but I think he noticed that his car wasn't responding. He had a long pit stop to repair some damage probably, and that was not enough to get his car repaired. And sadly, that is it for his race. He will try with more luck next time around, where Sam will be with another commentator, because as I told a couple of weeks back, I sadly won't be available
That's it.
next Wednesday. So, but we have many capable, or more than capable replacements for me. We might have the, who knows, maybe the return of Sam Kumo to cover the series, which he did earlier last season, I think. Who knows?
It could get Lee Thompson in.
Yeah.
Of course, he's quite a whiz with the new software. I had to ask him a couple of questions about the Java profiles and that. So sure we'll get that up and running in the next few weeks. Certainly, any drivers in this league and any drivers in any of the leagues that we cover on Apex Racing TV, do keep your eyes out for any posts in Facebook groups and Discords and whatever about those driver profiles, and you can update yours, and you'll look especially good on the overlay. I'm sure everyone wants that. David Fuller, underbridge from Gregory Ranks. Team GB Esports versus Sim Racers World. I've also got this battle. Look at this. Ian Roots, Chris Miles. Roots on his birthday hasn't scored a point yet so far in the gold category. He always finishes in 11th or 12th position. And it's looking like he's going to finish around that area once again today. But he's having a nice battle, at least, with John McConville and Chris Milestone, Steve Clays, and Ronald Moons as well. This pack just has not divided whatsoever for the entire race.
Yes, and that's what we usually see. Like drivers of the same pace, sticking together for quite a bit of time, and that is always exciting. Also, these drivers will have to start thinking, Sam, about the strategy, because half of the race is already gone, and you have to think hard about when to stop, especially if you are maybe stuck behind a slower car and you want to pass said car, because otherwise, and of course, as I move away the camera, Ian Roots get passed by two drivers at the same time. So let's see how it happened. Acque Minerali. Jumping on the curb. I think he got the dreaded slowdown. See, I missed that the overtakes, but at least something that I said earlier came into play. Sadly, this time for Ian, not in a good way, with that dreaded slowdown there at Acque Minerali, which is always very frustrating. Because, like someone said to me, I think Chas Dracot told me, why don't they put just gravel there? If you cannot go there, which makes a lot of sense.
One of the things I would like iRacing to do, I realise that all these tracks are laser scanned to the nth degree, but small modifications to circuits, such as different curbs or extra gravel traps, I'd be willing to give up some of the realism in order to have those elements, just to make it better in sim racing.
Yeah.
And of course, these tracks, they're constantly changing anyway. Look at Watkins Glen; it is totally different, the runoff areas, to what they were all those years ago. So putting in some sand where there's currently tarmac wouldn't really make that much of a difference to the realism, but it would also need a little bit more work as well. So do understand that, but I think it'd improve sim racing a little bit, as Ian Roots not having a good time with that corner currently. He has fallen victim to it again.
Let's see, I think you are absolutely right. Entering a bit wide and taking another slowdown at Acque Minerali. One thing the moment you said about the curbs, I thought straight away about those dreaded curbs in Montreal that were put there because they scanned the racetrack when the NASCAR Nationwide Series was there, no? So they had that like big white sausages on the inside of the curbs in the chicanes, Because NASCAR race cars can afford to jump on those things quite hard, no? But of course, they are not very nice when you are in iRacing running around with a Formula car, for example. They are quite dangerous, and I would love to not have them around when racing certain types of cars around Montreal in iRacing.
Yeah, I think so. Although, when you do hit those curves just right, and you nail that chicane, nothing better than that at Montreal. Of course, anyone who's subscribed to the iRacing YouTube channel has seen the preview for the new Silverstone. I say the new Silverstone, the Silverstone that's been around for 9 years already. But we can't complain too much because it will be around imminently. The June build, it will be around, and I wouldn't be surprised if that track features next season, Season 5 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. Is Lewis Ward going to go for a move this time? He's trying to go for it, so this is the time for him where he wants to make the move. And a little bit too much curve for Marvin Amont, put him offline, and now these two Audis will go at duel. Looking to the inside is Lewis Ward, not usually an overtaking spot. This into Villeneuve.
Don't tell me. That's where I got my tickets for the Grand Prix in 2002. But there was one overtake all race, so no matter where
And
you
it
were.
was team orders.
Yes, exactly. I made fun of the Italian commentator of F1 for public TV because he told the same stories over and over again over the years, but I'm going down the same path basically, telling the same stories all over and over again. So
we need to go to some more Grand Prix. I'm going to Silverstone, only the qualifying this season. But no, at least we'll be able to afford a wider array of races.
yeah, I know, I know they are never going to scan Vallelunga, but at the very least I can maybe tell some behind the scenes funny stories.
Yeah.
Like for example,
well, how was it?
On Sunday I gave my first meatball flag.
Oh wow, awesome.
During an enduro event, the 4-hour enduro of historical motorcycles. And the way it works, in the bikes at least, of course you have to ask race control to give, they take a look with their, they have cameras looking all over the racetrack. And they said, okay, so we had to prepare a panel with, the number of the bike. And I was holding that, and my colleague was holding the meatball flag, and that was at all the marshalling posts. So everyone had to do, have to, put out the meatball flag and the panel, number panel, because of me. And I was right, by the way. They were losing,
well
they were leaking oil. Well, it was quite
right.
obvious. There was a plum of smoke every time they passed in front of me. So.
Oh well done.
Of course, I got a lot of rain, wind. There was a hailstorm at some point. So yeah, typical Italian weather in May.
Yes, has it cleared up at all?
Today, yes, but in the weekend it's going to rain again. So.
Oh, right, okay.
But I'm not working in the weekend, so okay, I'm good with that.
Lewis was still trying to get past Marvin and Mons. No meatball flags required for either of these two.
Another thing, we don't call it the meatball flag in Italy. Not even with the Italian word for meatball.
But you guys made meatballs, didn't you?
Exactly, yeah. So I said to my colleagues, shall we give him a meatball? And they were a bit confused at first.
I can only imagine their faces.
So close, Lewis Ward here, but not able to get that extra bit of speed. And actually, they are not going slow by any mean, but both Boland is closing in on them. No, they are not pitting; they are staying out. Same goes for Boland. Speaking of pits, so let's see. I think in the top 20 we didn't have a lot of pit stops. Let's see. Exactly 0. Yes.
Yeah, Ward's going to go to the outside this time. Isn't the problem for him is that they're in the same car, probably running relatively similar setups, and it just means he hasn't got any major strength at any points in the lap. And Lewis Ward, not usually the most aggressive driver, and it might just be best to sit behind, save a bit of fuel, and try to get him during the pit stop sequence. Can he go for a move? Maybe into the hairpin. That's bold from Lewis Ward. That is aggressive from Lewis Ward. And that is 4th position for Lewis Ward. He wasn't... He had half a chance. I support him for going for it, but it was very late, and it could have been worse if Marvin Amance wasn't quite so quick
And
to
he's not
recognise he
happy.
had an Audi down his inside.
He is not happy. You could see him flashing his headlights as they were coming out of Tosa. Now it remains to be seen if there will be any action taken from race control or if they got any kind of damage. Seems to be okay. Of course, now Marvin Amance has to focus on on the Bot Boland being behind him, going very wide there, risking a slowdown. So he needs to concentrate because otherwise he's going to lose 5th position as well to Boland. Let's see if I were him, if I were Amance, I would go to the pits straight away because you can collect yourself for a second, maybe check if you have some damage. But of course he's a very good driver, so he stays out.
Well, these drivers can go quite far in this Imola race. It's not usually a high fuel consumption circuit, so it was a monster just running a little bit wide through the first part of Villeneuve that put him in trouble, and half a chance for Lewis Ward. He didn't understeer into his rival too. Personally, I would never give a penalty for that. I wouldn't even give a warning for that. I think he had half a chance. He caught his nose on the inside, but if I was Marvin Amance at the same time, I would feel really quite disgusted at this point.
So, Bot Boland now seems to be very, very much in this fight for P5, maybe even for P4. We will see, we shall see, because he was only waiting for these two guys in front of him to go at it, to close the gap, and that's exactly what happened. And if if Lewis Ward is maybe pulling away now, Amance, being for the trying to collect himself, for a second, or maybe he's got some damage, lost a bit of his rhythm. He really seems to be under pressure from the Mercedes driver and the second of the running Mercedes that are having a bit of a renaissance the last couple of races thanks to the BOP. One in 3rd, one in 6th. Also we have Van Buel in 7th, with his leader of the BMWs, and Eberer is the leader of the Ferraris in 11th. So no McLarens, I think, today. No Fords, sadly. No roofs. I don't think we will ever have one.
I didn't realise our still GT3 is both of Amance and Boland into the pits then.
Yes.
Surprised Boland didn't do the opposite of Amance there, although you can see how quickly you got to make a decision. So Amance trying to get the undercut maybe on his way. Not too much lapping so far, at least from what I've seen. Usually we see quite a bit more lapping than this. We can see Martin Van Liesner still very much by himself. No, he has overtaken a few drives, sorry.
He has
not many.
overtaken up to P26.
All the drivers who come into the pits.
Yes,
so
exactly.
He's overtaken, yeah.
Next one should be, I think, Gregory Ranks, who is also in a nice fight with Obden. Of course, Ranks already pitted. By the way, also the Wolf and Moons are in, silver drivers. Let's see where Van Loosener is. Yes, Van Loosener is about to get to these two guys, so we will see if he's going to encounter some trouble or not. Franks is a very good guy, very quick guy. Very quick last season, having some issues this season. Once again, it's not easy to I think he was driving another car last season, but I might be wrong. And here we go, side by side. Of course, gold versus bronze. In theory, it shouldn't be a fight, but we switch back to the leaders because they have come into the pits together. Van Loosener and Van Genechten.
Yeah, the gap between the two of them was kind of maintaining. They're being very evenly matched in this race, which I'm sure I think Genechten will be quite pleased with, considering that he was quite far in qualifying. Now, at Laguna Seca, it was a mistake in the pits from Martin Van Liesner, which gifted the race victory to Van Genechten. We'll see if the same happens today. Very slow into the pits there was Ruben Van Buel, and it's potentially cost him a couple of positions. Van Liesnoord is ahead of Van Genechten. Marshall is ahead of all of them. He'll be leading the race Yeah, actually a little bit closer between the top two now. So Van Loosenholt was 7/10 slower in the pit stop. So Van Connector maybe half a chance. So putting some more pressure on his championship rival.
Look at the crowd in the pits, which, by the way, also we have Ian Roots in. Marvin Amans is he lost quite a bit of time, maybe. His pit stop was decent compared to the others, but is a bit far away from Van Loosenholt and Van Genekten. Maybe he had to repair some damage. Of course, you know that my team doesn't exist anymore, but I will always keep one, the best ever pit entry in the history of this racetrack. If you remember, my teammate Alessandro during the charity event,
Yes.
the race for Alex, totally on purpose that pit entrance there. But yeah, hopefully that is a record or feat that we will never be surpassed by anyone else. But by the way, seems like Marvin Amans has lost because maybe I'm having not so good calculations, but yeah, I mean he's still very close to Lewis Ward as Ewan Marshall goes in and Martin van Loosenholt shall retake the lead of the race.
Pit stops haven't worked out for Ruben Van Buell, seemingly. He's dropped a couple of positions. I mentioned how he was very slow on pit road. I think he's lost out to both Phillips and De Tiege. No, he was behind De Tiege before, I think. I'm pretty sure he was really on the tail of De Tiege earlier on. So I think Phillips has just been able to jump both of them. Did have a 1.5 second, 1.5 second quicker pit stop. And so he's actually been able to gain 2 positions there. It's Dion Phillips. So well done to him. Ewan Marshall into the pits now.
Is that a slowdown for Lewis Ward? Because he lost the position on... Or did he give... Oh, maybe he got a penalty, or he gave up the position in order to avoid penalties for the contact at Tosa a few laps ago. Who knows?
No penalties announced.
So maybe it was out of sportsmanship, and that is, all good. It made sense maybe to wait a bit because they were under pressure also from another driver, Bob Boland, earlier when they were, they're coming together. They didn't want to lose, one extra spot. So makes sense. As Van Buell went wide there, clipping the curbs or the speed bumps at Tamburello. So Marshall now has a run at him as they go up the hill into Piratella. Beautiful section of the track, this one, on the brakes. Clipping the curb, going wide and getting ready for Acque Minerali. But we have to switch away from this battle because these two are going at it once again.
Ward isn't going to find any positions around there, unfortunately. But he's got a decent run on the exit, less than 0.3 of a second splitting the Jazz in 4th and 5th positions. Ward has overtaken one time. He's going to have to do it again due to his own generosity. But maybe he's maybe that little bit of damage he maybe caused on the side of Amont's car could help him later on. He's been pretty fast down this pit straight all day long, being able to get alongside going into turn 1, but never better than that. You can see it takes him a while, really, till the second half of the straight to start gaining, and even then, not too much of a gain whatsoever. The gap will go down to 0.2 of a second, but it's not nearly enough. I wonder...
Oh, it's Van Genekten!
Van Genekten's round, and that's the battle for the lead surely over. Is he going to be able to hang on to 2nd position? He will do, but unforced error there seemingly for Mike Van Genekten.
Yeah, does he have some damage? That's a big question. Yes, that rear wing damage. You also had that Spa was able to overcome that and still finish 2nd. Let's see what happened there, because I think that was quite similar to the mistake maybe he made in Belgium. Let's see. So certainly it's not here, but it's here. That is Scott Malcolm in front of him. Let's see. He went wide. Oh no, mistake all on his own. Uncharacteristic mistakes we've seen from EF in the beginning of this season, and He's really doing everything he can to keep up with Marten van Loosenord. He stays out, so he's confident he can finish the race, and I think he's also confident, he knows he doesn't have a meetable flag, so should be able to keep the position unless Van der Linden, which is also his teammate, start putting on some fantastic laps. They got 15 seconds between them. Let's put the gaps on your screen. Yes, you can see 8 seconds. Sorry, the gap is 15 seconds, yes, between the pair of them. So seems like he should be able to keep that position. Lewis Ward. So he had a penalty. I'm getting from my secret informers in the chat.
Ooh, okay.
That penalty was simply to swap positions, so that was a smart choice by Race Direction without giving up. And he keeps the fight alive, and here we go again.
Oh, this could be a great move. Is there going to be contact again between the two of them? Ward just has to back out now. This is where he made the move earlier on. Can he go for the old switcheroo? He's going to go to the outside. Such a long amount of tarmac you're going to have to take here. And the exit wasn't quite there. Just seemed to run out of road. Once again, deep into the slipstream of Marvin amongst Audi. As the back marker gets out of the way, thankfully, around this part of the circuit, ever so difficult to go for the move. But I would certainly say, Mark, it looks like he's going to be able to make the move by the end of the race. He's got 10 minutes to go, and with this race, we always see the last 10 minutes are absolutely exhilarating.
Absolutely, that's what we have been used to in the past couple, well, this season. As you can see, they are both in the Audi, and they are, they can afford to jump on the curb quite hard. Let's see the weather for a second, if it has changed a bit as we head into the final 10 minutes. It's 11 a.m. almost, 10 minutes to 11. 9 kilometers of wind. The track, it's interesting. 41 degrees, so hot, but could be much worse as we've seen in the past.
Quite an interesting battle currently for the lead in the silver category. We had a fantastic battle for the lead at Donington in this class. And ever since the start, David Witzbolz has been losing track to Jeremy Hessels, who now sits just quarter of a second behind the Ferrari. Usually fantastic down, so it's the BMW, the opposites. And the championship leader Witzbolz going up against third place in the championship, Jeremy Hessels. And well, this is a very interesting one indeed, because it certainly seems that Hessels has got the advantage, 0.3 of a second faster on that last tour of the circuit. They're not too far behind the likes of Methil and Herbert, along with a little bit of traffic as well. And so a great opportunity, certainly a lot more to lose for Witzbolz than Hessels. He really does need to make up a few points, does Hessels, if he's going to really challenge for the championship. Even at this early point in the season.
Yeah, the gains have been quite astonishing by Hessels in the last 5 laps. The only lap where he didn't gain was lap 28, where they lapped 1/1000 of a second apart from each other. But apart from that, it's been consistently gaining for Hessels on Wittable. So we shall see. This could be a very spicy end of the race battle for the win in the silver class. In the bronze class, David Fuller is enjoying another fantastic day in the office, the true dominator of the series, no matter the class. He's absolutely absolutely fantastic, and is looking to run away with the bronze title very early indeed in the season. We leave these guys for just a second because lapped cars once again coming into play for Amans and Ward, but we will switch back to the silver battle should they get close again there. And it seems like these two battles are going to go on till the end unless the drivers make mistakes. This is absolutely what's going to happen between these two guys here. So nothing going on there. Let's see Hessels moving on the left, making himself very big in the mirrors of the Ferrari. Not working this time, as 7 minutes left until the white flag comes out, and this means that we are having 4 laps, I think, more or less, from now until the end of the race, so not a lot of time for these drivers.
No, not yeah, not too much longer to go as Matthias De Teege and Dion Phillips go up battle, and that is De Teege actually getting ahead of Phillips. So Phillips, after getting the undercut on both De Teege and Van Buel earlier on, well, he has been overtaken here, and well, it could have been worse for Phillips there. Defending going into Akamirai, this has got to be a good move, I guess, from De Teege. He goes down the inside, well, Phillips with another mistake. And in the end, the pressure just proving too much, and the Teege getting through. Took a couple of mistakes. That's the difficulty of taking it around here at Imola. But Dion Phillips still with an opportunity to finish in 8th position. A monster under pressure from Ward. I will just take this opportunity to thank everyone who's tuned in so far. 30 viewers pretty consistently, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you for supporting the channel and supporting the series as well. And of course, if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page as well. Follow us on Twitch and Instagram as well. Certainly would be very much appreciated. And also watch the last 5 minutes of this race, and also the post-race interviews. Always fascinating to get a chat with a few of the drivers. So Ward still quarter of a second behind. Also Metherell very close on Herbrewer here. Down the inside maybe is Metherell. This well, they're not going to score points currently in the gold category, but still for the overall standing, it's very important for these two drivers. They've got Chris Miret only just up the road as well in 11th place overall.
And behind them you can see that Whittables has been able to pull away from Jeremy Hassel, so this should be the lead of the silver class sorted, as not at all over here between this duo here, and the same goes back at the front for Amans and Lewis Ward. But after the, we know that qualifying is one thing and racing is another, but I was expecting Marvin Amans to finish on the podium today, even though, I mean, you cannot go wrong with the top 3, top 4, top 5. 5 fantastic drivers, many of the fantastic drivers we have in this championship, so not ashamed to finish 4th. I think that it shows you the competitiveness of the series, because you have a bad start and it was so tough to recover for him, as Metherell isn't able to make the move at the Tamburello, so he will have to wait another maybe lap. Some damage on his Mercedes, as you can see, the Meraki Racing AMG, so in this case the team is representative of the manufacturer, which is good. It didn't go well once again for poor Andrew Opley in his brand new BMW. Didn't even complete one corner, I think.
No, that was yeah, a disappointing start. A couple of drivers out of the race, a couple of drivers as well with damage. But hopefully they will be back next week, where we visit
Sebring.
Sebring, yes, I was just about to say that. And that's a night race, isn't it?
I think, yes, it's day into night, the opposite of what we had in Spa with the night into day, which was very, very nice. And that is a track that, these drivers, I think, know very well. It is absolutely a shame that I won't be able to commentate on that race.
Yes.
Being that, I brought glory to the Mercedes brand in Sebring this year. With that
of course, yeah.
historic win in the 12-hour race.
I mean, what else has Mercedes done this year, after all, than winning 6 splits, GT3...
10th split.
10th split, GT3.
Well, they were like around 20, yeah, so it was like middle of the
Oh,
pack.
I'm not doubting that. No.
Oh, dear! Good save then from Metherell.
Well, more pride to the Mercedes brand right there from Tom Metherell.
It is the car of champions in F1 and on iRacing, especially the 12-hour of Sebring. That is absolutely true, as Moons goes into the pits very late, so some issues for him. As Roots and McConville, I think McConville will not attack his teammate, probably his boss. Championship organizer, yeah, thinks better of attacking him, the two teammates there. So back to the fight here, as that is very, very damaged Scott Malcolm.
Ooh, this could
Oh,
be
Scott, be
awkward.
careful!
He's gonna go
Oh!
wide, and through goes Ward. Mance gets pushed out by Scott Malcolm. And yeah, Jubbles now. Malcolm defending almost a little bit. There's almost more contact. And how is the Mance going to get through here? He dives down the inside. He will be outraged. First time contact with Lewis Ward. Got the position given back, so he's not going to get the position given back to him this time. Because Ward up into 4th place and Mance down into 5th.
Ewan Marshall with some late race issues, if I'm not mistaken. And he towed back to the pits just like that, so very unlucky. Now, last week I missed Martin van Loozenhoorn crossing the start-finish line. I think for the first time in my broadcasting career I missed the end of the race. So I will switch to him very early.
Well,
Just as
he might just get... No, this is going to be
No,
the
no,
last
he
lap,
won't.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
15 seconds left, so gets plenty of TV time. All the other battles are more or less settled, so I mean, he is having another fantastic day at the office, and one more corner left for him.
Yes, the checker flag is out. And Martin van Loozenhoorn is going to take 4 race victories out of 5 in the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. He wins at Imola in the gold and overall categories. Next across the line, Davey Witzbowls will be the winner in the silver category. Just behind him is the winner of the bronze category, David Fuller, as well. Because Witzbowls only 1.3 seconds clear of Jeremy Hessels, and after missing round 1 of the championship, well, Witzbowls is going to be absolutely delighted. It's going to be his 3rd race victory out of the previous 4 races. And with the issues for Nick Sherms, who could have well challenged him today, with the issues for Sherman's, Witzbowls going to take a comfortable margin going into round 6 of the season next week, of course, on Apex Racing TV. But here he comes, winner of the silver category, and Davey Witzbowls takes his 3rd race victory of the season. And then just behind, David Fuller. It's going to be 5 out of 5, up to domination from him so far this season, and he wins with ease in the bronze category here at Imola. Well done to David Fuller.
Absolutely fantastic. Of course, a little bit of I don't normally say this or usually say this, but of course, I think it's a very proud moment for the Ponti Motorsport guys winning their home race in a Ferrari. It's not something that you can achieve very, very, every time. But once again, Van Loozenhoorn, Van Genechten, and in 3rd place was Van der Linden, and that is another podium dominated by the Benelux region, with of course Van Genechten being from Belgium, P1 and P3 from the Netherlands, and yeah, it's a oh man, I was about to say something terrible, but I will not say this, because all the 3 names start with Van. It's a parade of vans. Okay. Let's get the race results on your screen, which are more interesting than my terrible puns. And we should have them in just a second. Yes, here we go. The race results for the Imola round.
Yes, and it's Martin van Loozenhoorn winning out in the gold and the overall stones. He was pushed hard by Van Genechten. We didn't think that would be the case after a dominant qualifying display from Van Loozenhoorn, but Van Genechten was very much there. Just a mistake late on really did relieve the pressure on the race winner. Marcel van der Linden finished in third place. Another great result for him. Lewis Ward was in fourth. Marvin de Mons finished in fifth place with Bod Berland in sixth. There's Matthias de Tige in seventh, Dion Phillips in eighth, Ruben van Buell in ninth, and Chris Marietta in 10th place. Behind that was Sebastian Herbuer, Tom Metherell. David Whitballs was the leader of, the winner of the silver category. Behind that was Gregory Vranks, who somehow managed to beat Jeremy Hessel's Limo with some fuel issues late on for Hessels. And then was the race winner in the bronze category, David Fuller, 16th overall. Another very good result for him. Behind that was Steve Clay, Stephen DeWolf, Ian Reitz, John McConville, Chris Miles, Ben Thanes, Ronald Moons, Stu Musselwhite, William Bush, Stephen Castrop, Jais Moody, Tom McDonald, Kevin Boland, James Hobden, and then 2 laps down was Ewan Marshall and Scott Malcolm. And then the retirees, well, Ben Llewellyn,
Yes.
Llewellyn. I'm thinking too hard now. He was actually disqualified. He picked up 25 instants with 10 laps to go.
I think you predicted that at the very beginning of the race. Also, you said that he was at risk in the first few laps already. So
Yes. So I don't always talk complete gibberish, especially not when I'm talking about Ben Llewellyn, of course. 33rd position for him overall, and might still score some points. Lee Deemer was a retiree along with Lee Woodburn, Sam Bentham, Andrew Hopley, and Nick Sherman. So those last three all got caught up in a first lap incident. A couple of other drivers were very close to getting disqualified. I would play guess who you reckon got close to being disqualified, Marco, but there's not really anything that you can base your predictions on. We've got quite a large grid, so we
Yeah.
won't waste our time to that. But
I'm saying maybe let's see. I want to just go and try with one of the drivers, Marvin Amans, maybe.
Marvin Muntz, well, he wasn't one of the ones that. It's 17. So
Because he got hit left and right, no? So
yes, absolutely.
not
Well,
his
Clive
fault.
Van Genexten was on 24 at the end. He actually got away. I think after his crash, he only had about 3 to spare. Chris Miles was on 24 as well. Anyone else quite close? Of course, Ben Llewellyn was on 25, and that was about it. So not too bad at track this Imola for those incidents. Interview time with the drivers, and well, what is going on here? To quote Gordon Ramsay, because there's oh, here we go, a few drivers around. So who are we going to have a chat with? Well, we've got the 2 race winners actually, so we're very much spoilt. Well, I think we're going to go for Davey Witterballs to have a chat with first. Of course, our silver class winner. And Davey, well done. You must be very pleased with that, especially considering the pressure that you are under from Jeremy Hassels in those closing stages.
Good evening, guys. Yes, he was very strong today. I think the BMW was very good. So, yeah, it was a nice race, but it was very hard. In the beginning, I was not pushing because I didn't want to mix up with the battles with the gold drivers. But I will always keep an eye on Jeremy. And with the pit stop, I had too much fuel, so I lost some seconds.
Well, still a very good drive after that. The track temperature, once again, as we often see in this series, was creeping up as the race went on. Was that affecting the handling of the car at all?
Yes, pretty much. The hotter it gets, in the end, I had no front grip anymore. There was one turn, I could not make the turn anymore like before, and it was very hard, and I was struggling on the tires. So it was very hot, too hot in fact. But yeah, we managed to keep it to the end, but it was very hard.
Absolutely. We saw a few drivers out there picking up slowdowns through various parts of the track. Was that an issue for you whatsoever? Were you kind of trying not to pick up those instants or trying to not pick up those slowdowns, or did you not have to think about it too much?
Well, I was aware of that, that there are some places where you can easily pick it up. But like I said, in the beginning, I was not pushing, I was just following Seb. I didn't want to disturb him in his battle with Gold, so I was more protecting him from the other two guys behind me. So it was an easy drive in the beginning, just at the end with too much fuel, and Jeremy was put the pressure on me, so that was a bit harder. And then I felt my tires, my front tires were very bad, but yeah, just kept it safe and just grabbed the points.
Yeah, it was very good drive. Well done, Davey, for your third race victory of the season. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, you guys for the broadcast and also the organization. Um, Also Ponte Motorsport, Sim Racing Bay for all the support, and yeah, all the guys that were driving this night. It was a pretty clean race for so far that I saw. So thank you.
Thanks, Davey, and see you next week.
See you next week.
So that was Davey Witzbos, your silver class winner, and Margate. Who do you fancy having a chat with now?
We will have David Fuller. So let's bring him up, the winner in the bronze category. Let's see if he
Stop
can
a
join
mystery
us.
video.
Yes, as we have very rudely interrupted him as per usual. Welcome in the interview booth, David, once again. You are getting, as I said the other week, quite used to this. Another victory, another commanding victory around this Imola racetrack. Describe us your race.
Um, a bit of a poor qualifier really. I think I had about half a second on my relative still to make up. But I was just conscious of getting a clean lap in because it's quite easy to get an off track around here and those curves. Just to avoid the curves. So I got my lap in and then I just watched the lap drop down the timing board. So then I just kept an eye on where the next bronze guy was. So that was the qualifying. But the race, as the temperatures got up, I was struggling with the understeer, especially the hairpin. I just could not get it to stick to the apex, just running wide every time. Had a quite a good battle with Franks. I don't know if you've seen that, but he got us in the pit stop, unfortunately.
Yes, absolutely, and I mean you are getting some, I think, invaluable experience. I'm looking, already thinking about next season because I think the promotion, at least to silver, is almost inevitable for you. And I think from your perspective as well is a good learning opportunity fighting with these very experienced gold drivers all race long.
Yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking at the start, especially if you're leading your class, because obviously you're conscious of you don't want to wreck out battling somebody that's not in the same class, but at the same time you want to have a bit of fun. You want some wheel-to-wheel action. So once it's settled down a bit, I'm starting to get used to the close driving. Touch wood, I don't have any issues, but once it's settled down a bit, especially with Franks when he was behind us, I think he was behind us for about 5-6 laps. I was just holding my line. I wasn't going to defend hard. If he was going to make the move, I would have just let him through. But then I thought he's probably fuel saving to get the jump on the pit stop.
Next week, Sebring, historical place for GT and sports car racing. Are you confident about that particular race?
Yeah, I like Sebring. I think it's a day to night race. I
Yes.
think. So that should be quite good. Spice things up a bit, and hopefully the track temps are going to be heading down as opposed to skyrocketing up. So yeah, hopefully the understeer will be all right, and we can push for the win again.
Thank you very much, David. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, you guys, the broadcast. I'll look forward to watching that tomorrow. Ian for hosting the session, as usual. Team GB Esports. I had a couple of guys in chat whilst I was racing, so I was getting some tips throughout the race, which helped quite a bit. So yeah, shout out to those guys.
Thank you very much, David. We will catch you next week then.
Yeah, see you next week.
And that was David Fuller, winner of the bronze. Now we also have the winner of the gold category, but I think that Steve Clays has been there for a bit more, Sam. So maybe
Absolutely.
we get him first.
Yes, I was eager to have a chat with Steve because he gained more positions than anyone else out there. 20 positions gained, Steve. You must be quite pleased with that.
Good evening, guys. Yes, I'm quite pleased. Did not make any errors, which was important. And like you say, I had 20 positions. I had to get into the top 20 again and try to drive for the silver championship. So I think I'm third, so that's good. So even if I was 16 or 15, it wouldn't have mattered, you know.
Yeah, still a very good recovery drive. Just take us through the first lap for you because you were quite far back and there were a few collisions up ahead of you. Were you close to making contact with anyone?
No, the approach to the first chicane was like, okay, take it easy. I still have that qualification ban. I have that driver standards warning, so I really had to be careful not to get involved in any crashes or whatever. So I took it easy, but I saw some other people uh, charge quite hard. And then when I saw the cars flying, I was like, okay, this is not good. And when I saw the admin's decision that it was a racing incident, I was kind of surprised. But anyway, that's their thing. And the first laps, I wanted to try to gain some positions to get, to advance as fast as possible. And I saw that some people really block hard, which I don't understand. I'm 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 faster than them. So once if I passed, I took 2 seconds a lap. So I don't understand why you want to block from the first lap on, even knowing the guy behind you is just faster. So okay, that's the game, that's racing. I accept that, but I don't understand the reasoning. But okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, he still stood very well to gain all those positions to get back up into 17th place overall. Next time we head to Sebring, of course, a day to night race. How are you feeling about that?
Sebring is a brilliant track, and it really needs to be driven in the night. You know, it's a great fast track, and I kind of like it. Never done it with the Audi because the Audi is a new car for me. I haven't driven it a lot in official races or something. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I think we can be very strong there.
Well, we wish you the best of luck for that one, Steve. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I want to thank the team again for providing the setups to just practice together to stand there together, and I'm very happy for the team. And yeah,
Thanks, Steve, and we'll see you next week.
see you next week, guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
So that was Steve Clays, 37th to 17th. A nice drive from him today. And Marco got one last interview to go. And I must say, it's probably the most important one.
Exactly, it's Martin van Loosenhoort, once again winner. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Marco, Sam.
So another victory for you today in Imola. You lost your basically, your teammate was in second at the start of the race. He dropped to fourth, so you were left on your own there at the front, under pressure from Jeff Van Genegten. But you were able to keep your cool as well this time as you did in the past. And yeah, another nice race victory for you in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Race start was a bit weird. I expected to go green a little bit earlier, so we were just waiting for it, and was unexpected when it went green. So yeah, I guess Marvin's reaction time was just a bit off, and that's why he lost P2 to Yves. But nonetheless, I think he did a good job finishing 5th. I think, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good race.
You were there at the front, so we didn't have always the cameras on you. So I wanted to ask you because we were wondering, how was it today? The track is not very wide, so how was today with the lapping other cars? Was it particularly tougher than usual due to the track not being that wide?
Um, no, I think I haven't been overtaking a lot of traffic, so I just had a few guys, and most of them just let me go, not not doing, not behaving weirdly, and some others did. So yeah, but yeah, you need to keep your eyes out for them, and yeah, you just need to hope that they see you, and so you can put it right next to the other car. Yeah.
And next week we will be running into the night in beautiful Sebring. I'm sure it's going to be a very, very interesting race for you.
Yeah, definitely. I like Sebring. So yes, I like bumpy tracks overall. So
You know, and I think it's much better now in a GT car than running there in an open wheeler, not like you were used to do in the past.
yeah. You've seen me driving that track as well, right? With open wheelers, but it's
Yes.
definitely a lot better with a GT.
Okay, Martin. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I would like to thank the team, the sponsors, and you guys.
Thank you very much, man. Congratulations once again, and catch you next week then.
Thank you. See you later.
And that was race winner, championship leader, Martin van Loosener for Racecraft Esports Gold. So, Sam, we are in the closing stages of this broadcast. Another fantastic round. Next week is going to be Sebring. We've talked about it already in the race. I think that, like always, this championship won't disappoint us, and the fact that we are racing into the night makes it even more special.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be quite some atmosphere over there at Sebring in Florida next time out. Of course, that'll be the halfway mark of the championship as well, which has absolutely flown by. Of course, well, the good news for us is that once this season is over, I'm sure that season 5 will be very quick afterwards as well. This championship, absolutely superb, just building on the foundations of last season. And I'm sure next round at Sebring is going to be another fantastic addition, round 6 of the championship. Of course, on Apex Racing TV over the next couple of days, tomorrow I think we got the BSRTC Pro Series,
Yeah,
and
you should
then
know that.
I should know that, yeah.
Yes, it's
I'm
in Detroit tomorrow at
yes.
19:15
Oh,
GMT.
that should be good fun.
Yeah,
Again,
MX5s
I
were
knew that it was
fantastic.
in Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah. The MX5s
Um,
were fantastic on Monday and Tuesday, so that should be fantastic as well. Of course, even more excitement because each day that passes, or every couple of days or 3 4 days, we get new infos about the TCR car that should be hopefully coming as a mid-season replacement. Like because racing has done that sometimes in the past with the Porsche, for example, the GT3, sorry, the uh, Cup car for Porsche. They introduced it, during the season, so we might get that. Or also the cars for the Camel GT Championship. They were introduced during the season, so yeah, we might get that before the September update, which would be great because racing is really missing a nice touring car.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly some deliberations already being made about the change to the BSRTC Pro Series to facilitate for that new TCI car. On Saturday, we've got the Sim Racers Asia Championship. That'll be on at about midday for the guys in the UK, of course, evening for the guys in Asia. On Monday, we'll have the Mazdas, of course. I believe on on Tuesday morning, we'll have the Ricmotech sports car series. On Tuesday evening, we'll have uh, the Mazdas and also the VRS GT Sprint series. and then of course on Wednesday you'll be back with us. Also
No.
the
Yeah, you, the viewers.
oh,
No,
of course,
not
yes.
you, me.
Oh,
Sam, I don't
I
know
keep on forgetting.
what IMSA has done to you, but you always forget poor IMSA race at 10:45 GMT in the
Ah,
morning on Tuesdays.
I commentated on it once as well.
Really?
Yeah, I had a day off school, and so
Oh, man,
I turned up.
why did I didn't know that? I would have you know do my best to follow that, and I should go back because of course for us it's a bit weird, no, because it's very early in the morning. But yeah. By the way, don't miss the Sim Racers Asia on Saturday because it's at Bathurst. GT is around Bathurst. It's for two sprint races. It's going to be crazy, and of course the grand finale of the MX5s Monday and Tuesdays. For the final round of the season from Montreal, another twisty racetrack. So yeah, it's the time of the year, Sam. Some series are almost over, others are almost midway through. 2 weeks from in 2 weeks the V8s will also end, and congratulations to those guys, by the way, for getting a new big sponsor, which means they will be back for next season also. So I'm super happy about that, and yeah, lots to look forward to in the next few days here on Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Do not miss a minute of it. Of course, best way to do that, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page as well. But for me and for Marco as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next